Welcome, everybody. I want to introduce Stephanie Hastings, and Stephanie has come to us to talk to us about how to get our financial house in such a way, our own financial affairs in such a way that we can create a life we love, and maybe, and particularly for us, how we could look at investing in real estate along the way. How do we have the dollars that we need to invest if we don't already have them? So we're going to talk about that. So Stephanie, welcome.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello. Thank you so much, Chuck. It's wonderful to be here at the summit and invited to speak. So
Awesome. Yeah, we're happy to have you. So why don't you tell us a little about yourself? So we know where we're going, I think. I want you to maybe lay that out and then tell us, what has you be doing this? You could be doing a lot of different things, but I know you have a passion for this. So why don't you tell us about that as well?
Well, Stephanie Hastings, A+ Professional Services, and I started out as the accidental entrepreneur, to be honest with you. I was working part-time at a bookkeeping firm, and lo and behold, that firm had been blessed with a very wonderful client that they only needed the one client. And so my then boss at the time literally kindly and gently shoved me out the door with a laptop and 5 clients right from the books that I had been personally doing their bookkeeping and going to their home offices. And that's how I started. I was a little surprised, actually, like, what just happened? But that was my story. And I'm ever so grateful to her. So, lots of shout outs go to Miss Maryland, and I appreciate her every day when I realize that I'm able to make my own future because of what she did for me.
Stephanie, I understand you have a mortgage and a real estate background as well. So tell us about that.
Well, yes. So I was blessed many years ago to work with Wells Fargo Home Mortgage, actually. I worked with a couple of other smaller mortgage brokers prior to that, but Wells Fargo Home Mortgage is where I really sort of cut my teeth in the various departments and learning about 1031 exchanges, which is something, creative real estate financing and shifting of properties. And I also was in not only the compliance department, but I also did the closing documents. Mm-hmm. And then on another side of things, I was also on the relocation team. So I was part of that team that helped shift Schlumberger and IBM, Hewlett-Packard from one end of the country to the next, and even into the United States to buy homes and set them up with all of that aspect of finding the perfect realtor, the perfect appraiser, finding the perfect home, and then doing the closing and so forth to get them their keys. So pretty much I started at the beginning and doing the loan docs and all the way to the end and getting them their closings. So through that time period, I learned some creative real estate ideas and financing and lending that we could do as well. So that was a little bit of my background.
Well, so how do you bring the real estate and mortgage background you've got to your programs that you offer?
Thank you. Well, I appreciate that question, because in working with my clients and, starting with that finance mindset piece and then looking forensically into their business about, and really you don't even have to have a business, but looking into your finances basically about what it is that you have in your portfolio, I guess, currently, and then what you have for your future, what you have financially for your future. So that's when I talk more about the 4 R's. When I talk about, you're getting the opportunity to reinvest in your business, reinvest in yourself, reinvest in like some recreation and some relaxation, right? And then reinvest for your retirement. So the things that you do for your retirement. And when we talk to that piece, we talk about the real estate component. We talk about maybe some creative financing in to either get you some real estate, have you become that investor, or what are we going to do to, maybe it's that time to sell your home, and how are we going to look at those tax implications, right? So in that vein of it, I have partnerships and collaborative, just really great teammates and community that I work with to help them in those tracks. So when we get to that point in that conversation, we look at the whole piece of it and see what matters directly for them, specific to them. I don't ever do a broad stroke paint for anybody. You know, it's just specific to them. So that's what we do. We partner them with someone who's going to come in and see what fits for their particular financial situation. Do they need to purchase? Do they need to sell? Would they like to be an investor? Where are we going to get that capital from? And we ask all those questions.
Yeah. So you're custom, you could say custom tailoring
Yes.
a financial program to each person's goals, needs, and resources, right?
Most definitely, because that's where, you know, that's where my phrase comes in, you know, where we increase your net to decrease your debt. So it's always, we want to be thinking about good debts, right? Because there is such a thing. There is such a thing as good debt. We want to focus on reframing how we can get ourselves some good debt if necessary, or entirely out of debt if maybe we're toward the end of our retirement.
I got that. So, yeah, so you know, there's particularly now when interest rates can be very low, and you can make more higher yields on other things like real estate.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so debt can be really positive in that case.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I know you have a thing called the 4 R's. What is the 4 R's?
Yeah, so that was a little run through right there where we do the reinvest, right? We reinvest in ourselves, we reinvest in our business, we reinvest in to that, you know, I call it recreation, but basically what I realized is a lot of people who are solo entrepreneurs tend to burn out because they don't give themselves some time.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reinvest into yourself, basically. And then the retirement, right? Mm-hmm. And so those are my 4 R's. And I've broken them out into different R's in the past, but that's really what it breaks down to, is the reinvest. And that's how it really shows itself.
Yeah, and the earlier you do that, the better.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I can honestly tell you, I have testimonials from my clients where when I stepped in and we really did a forensic look at their business, they were literally ready to give up, sell the business, or walk away from the business they themselves built, because they weren't able to spend time with their spouse. They were losing sleep and the stress and the anxiety because now they had a really expensive hobby and they weren't actually earning any money. Mm-hmm. So when I stepped in, I had some people tell me, this saved my marriage. This changed my health. And this really set me on the right trajectory for our future because we didn't have any savings. So I'm telling you, this is really, really important. Really important.
So what are some examples of, if you were looking at somebody's operation, whatever that business operation is, whether it's the business operation of them working for, somebody else.
Right, as a W-2, that's right.
Right, or the business operation of owning their own business, or the business operation of investing. They're all business operations. So if you're looking at that, what are some examples of where you have, how do I say it? You've plugged the leaks, okay, to the cash flow, as an example. What's some examples of that you've done?
Right. Because ultimately we want those inflows and not so much of the outflows. Because right. So when looking at, I'll give you 2 examples. So when looking at an entrepreneur or a business owner, oftentimes what's happening is they, in their need to really be what they call quote unquote legit, they have the next best software. They have the next best service, the this funnel service, that funnel, thing, this is going to build me a better course, this is going to do what. So they've purchased a lot of shelf help sort of items and pieces and components for their business, and they have no idea how to utilize them to their fullest potential, and none of them are syncing or working, and it's just costing them oodles of money.
Yeah, the shiny object series syndrome ends
Yeah.
up costing you a lot of shiny objects.
Yeah. They tend to, yeah, exactly. At the end of the month, you have a lot of shiny objects, and it's cost you over $1,200 just to keep them.
Yeah.
Not utilize them. I never said utilize them, but just to keep them. And then, for example, a W-2 employee, let's say you work for a company or corporation, but there are certain things that we look at to ensure your financial health, your financial future. And one of those is, what are you doing with your tax implications now? And, how are you looking at your W-2 and having everything broken out for your tax implications? And second of all, we look at, what are you doing to set yourself up for retirement, or in case something happens, the what if happens. So if something were to happen to you tomorrow, do you have life insurance? Do you have certain things in place to help your family or your spouse or your loved one or your partner to handle and manage things when you're gone? No one wants to think of that, but if you think of it now, you're in a much better position to not ever have to think of it again, right? It's that preventative sort of thinking. And then the other piece of that is your retirement. So what are you doing so that you can walk away from being a W-2 employee comfortably and have quality of life? Because there is a difference. You oftentimes find people who walk away from being a W-2 employee who don't have quality of life, and then therefore have to go find something else, a side gig, or go back to being a W-2 employee because they didn't have the correct structure or plan in place.
Right. Or they reached retirement age and they got more time left than they have money. So they have to work they have to continue working maybe a different job to be able to afford the lifestyle they want to have, rather than having used what they've accumulated over the years, or could have accumulated over the years, to build that lifestyle.
That is the truth. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's got to be, it really is never too late to start. Never too late to start.
Do we all wish we could go back and start when we were 16 and 17 and put in a savings fund or a Roth IRA or something fun? Sure. That would be awesome. The compound interest alone, we'd be like, woohoo!
Yeah.
But zero from zero is still zero. So start now and you'll have something more than zero.
Yeah. It's never too late to confront reality. So whatever the reality is, it's a starting point. What you wish for is not a starting point. It's where you're at right now. And if you'll start right now, you can accomplish an amazing amount in whatever time you have left on this earth. You can accomplish a lot, especially if you're focused with your money and your time and how you do things. So I can see that that's an awesome thing to start doing as soon as you can, and it's never too late. So how do you like to work with people? I know by this time people are curious about how you work with people and what the setup of that is. So would you share that with us a little bit?
Sure. So I have wonderful different courses and programs in place where we can work together one-on-one, and we can put together your specific blueprint and plan that I help as your guide, and we work to implement that. We actually build that into your business. It's not another piece of shelf help. It's not another piece of thing that you purchase. So one of my first things is my 6 weeks fast dash to cash. And that's where we really
I like that. Fast dash to cash.
Yeah.
I like it.
We look at all those areas in your business. I mean, from the top down, we look at your business entity, and that's your tax structure, basically. We look at how you are doing your contracts and your agreements when you do have clients. We look at, are you in a position to have a contractor, a VA, or a W-2 employee? Is that a necessity at this point? We look at all the things in behind the scenes, your bookkeeping, your legalese, basically. So do you have some sort of protection in case someone wants to come after you in a legal capacity? Do you have your just in cases? And then, of course, we look at that final component of what would happen if something happened to you tomorrow. What would happen with your retirement plan? Do you have a retirement plan? And then are you setting aside money and funds and time to actually enjoy what you do? To actually, you know, have some fun with your passion, with your gig, your side thing, your financial income, your growth, whatever it is that you call it, are you enjoying it?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one piece. And then the other piece is a group component where we work in a group and we do a lot of accountability, and then therefore, you know, we do that implementation. So I have the one-on-one where we like to really do the deeper dive. And then I also offer a one-on-one VIP where it's something structured over 2 days where we really hone that down. We get the plan together, and then I work with you over a period of 6 to 9 months to really implement those things that we worked on in those 2 days.
So why don't you walk through the different, like the different pieces of that again, because I know it could be a lot. So if you're watching this, get a pen and a paper or a computer and take this down so that you can understand how Stephanie works to help you get to your financial goals. Why don't you go through them again, like the different pieces of what you offer?
Okay.
Okay.
So when we're looking at your 6 weeks fast to cash, that is $497, and that is a course structure where we go in 6 modules and we go through everything with you. There's a Facebook group if you want to join that and see how some other people are addressing some situations, or maybe just chime in on how you have addressed situations that could be potentially helpful. And
is that the group program you're talking about?
Yeah, that's a component of the group program. And then another one of those is the positive cash flow, and that's positive cash flow for life. That was the one of the things that I will be discussing with you. And in positive cash flow for life, what we do is we create that blueprint. We follow up from those 6 weeks basically and move you into creating something where now what's next, right? Now that we've done this, what's next?
Mm-hmm.
After that component working, we create those next steps, and then we build onto that to see, you know, what's your next quarter look like? What's that next quarter look like? Because as we're putting these things into place, you're going to have financial income growth, and you're going to have some changes where now you may need to hire people. You may need to build in better systems. And how are we now going to ask that question of growing to scale, right? Scalability.
So you start with where you're at right now, and you have people get clear about that, and then what steps they can take along the way, and have some accountability possibility with other groups, other people, as a possible way they could operate. And then how do they grow their business, and how do they get more money to the bottom line, the net, right?
And how to scale it. So if you're looking at being, you know, a one-stop mom and pop shop, how do you scale that so that you duplicate yourself?
Mm-hmm.
And then again, I do have some one-on-one VIP days where we work on specifically making that growth plan and what's that next step so that we can implement those.
Well, let me ask you a question, because people may, I mean, I have other questions, but if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, to reach you, how would they do that?
So if you wanted to reach out to me, you can reach out. I have my contact information, which is Stephanie at aplusproserve.com, 602-832-0734.
Do that
You can
again,
also,
real bit slower, okay?
so you can reach me at Stephanie at A plus, APLUSPROSERV as in Victor.com. Stephanie at aplusproserve.com.
Okay.
And you can reach me at phone number 602-832-0734. You can also reach out to me via LinkedIn with my LinkedIn page, which is A Plus Pro Serve, and also via Facebook, which is My Calming Eva, which stands for Executive Virtual Assistant, which is how I started out this world afterwards, was helping people in that capacity.
Okay. And then how do people, is that where people get their, you have a complimentary business leaks checklist so they
Yes.
can assess their, their leaks and tweaks?
So what I'd like to do is reach out to me at that email address, Stephanie at aplusproserve.com, and in the subject, just put checklist, right? If you just put checklist in the subject, I will go ahead and send you that out, and that way you can have that, you can go through that list and you can see and define to yourself, where are areas that you do need a little bit of guidance or assistance on, and where are areas where you've really plugged those leaks and you're ready to move forward. So it's a really helpful checklist for you.
Great to have you with us tonight, tonight, whenever. And we hopefully that you'll come back for a future real estate expert summit. And if you are at home or at work are interested in working with Stephanie, I encourage you to reach out. You don't have to know where you're going when you start out. You don't. In fact, she would help you figure out where you're going, and or you don't have to know how you're going to get there, because that's what she'll do. She'll help you figure out where you're going to get to, how you're going to get to where you want to go. So so just reach out to her if you have a curiosity or you think this might be right for you. Reach out. All right. So again, Stephanie, thank you so much for being on our realestateexperts.com, and we appreciate that. All right. Bye. Okay.